could develop the 5G chip. We also provided the RF, and we provided the RF front end, or the RFFE, starting with the Snapdragon 8X24 modem. So you have 5G as an option, but LTE has gotten significant improvements.
Well, here we are, integrating world's first 2 gigabits per second LTE connectivity. The number of carriers that can be aggregated as a part of this 20 layers goes up to 7. And how about Wi-Fi? Introducing world's first 60 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which allows us to get to, and get this, 10 gigabits per second. Now, let's take a little bit further, deeper look into what we have in 5G. We have to start with the baseband, with the transceiver, or a front end, and finally the antennas. What we have done as a part of Snapdragon 855 is to simplify things for the device ecosystem. This is what would constitute, but this is one level of integration. The second level of integration is to now start bringing in the rest of the components. It's a comprehensive solution, it's a system level solution if you kind of think about it, which integrates all these pieces together. This involves a combination of both 4G and 5G, that we were transitioning from 3G to 4G. It seemed complicated back then. When it comes to 5G, oh no, it's a lot more than that. We have TDD and FTD, millimeter wave and sub-6 bands, multiple cities, more than 20 OEMs, more than 20 operators. Oh, one more thing, don't forget that LTE. It's a completely different ballgame compared to where we were back in 2009, 2010 timeframe when we started with 4G. That's what our Snapdragon 855 platform is designed for, to enable a massive at-scale deployment of 5G in a global manner, spanning all the bands, while making sure that we keep increasing what we can do with 4G as well. So, once again, welcome to the era of multi-gigabit connectivity. Thanks everyone.
So let's talk about 3 of the biggest of these cores: the CPU, the GPU, and the DSP. Snapdragon 855 delivers a 45% faster CPU and a 20% faster GPU than Snapdragon 845. Let's start with our Adreno GPU. Adreno is the most efficient GPU for sustained, high-performance gaming. Adreno also leads in graphics features, such as Vulkan 1.1, a first for mobile. Let's take a look at what all this means. Here we're going to look at a common graphics benchmark running on Snapdragon 855 and competitor 7nm mobile parts. One looks great the first time you run it, but after 5 minutes, things look a little different. It turns out their sustained performance is only catching up with Snapdragon 845. Snapdragon delivers the best sustained performance for gaming. All right, let's talk about our CPU. With Cryo 45, we're introducing the concept of Prime Core, where we had the concept of ASMP that allowed you to run the clocks at different frequencies to save power. Big Little was an evolution of that. Prime Core continues to evolve this concept. We now have a dedicated high-performance core with its own clock. The Cryo 45 Prime Core runs at up to 2.8 gigahertz, a 45% performance increase. There are also 3 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores. The Prime Core and the performance cores leverage the Cortex A76 as a baseline and add Qualcomm customizations for higher performance. This CPU is a beast. It's the largest performance increase ever in a Snapdragon for CPU. This is a comparison with other 7nm mobile phone processors. The Snapdragon 855 is the fastest processor on the apps you care about. Let's look at what happens when we combine our Cryo CPU with our Adreno GPU. You can see one of the competitors manages to score very high the first time out, but about 5 to 6 minutes in, the story changes considerably. Next up is our Hexagon 690 processor. Hexagon is what our partners use to create differentiating features on camera, video, audio, and XR. Hexagon is a powerful combination of classic DSP and AI processing. It's also secure, and it keeps personal data like biometrics secure, such as face authentication. What's new on the Hexagon 690? The base scalar performance of the DSP, of our quad-threaded DSP, is up by 20%. We've also doubled the number of vector extensions from 2 to 4. But we have even bigger news. We now have added a Hexagon Tensor Accelerator. This new accelerator is Qualcomm designed and it's dedicated to AI. And it is designed for multidimensional math that is commonly used in neural networks. Previously on Hexagon, we broke down higher order tensors into vectors for multiplication in software. The new Tensor accelerator now automatically manages these types of matrix multiplications in hardware. Snapdragon 855 delivers a 45% higher performance CPU, the biggest leap ever for Snapdragon. Our Adreno GPU delivers a 20% performance increase with energy-leading energy efficiency and the first to market with Vulkan 1.1. And our Hexagon processor has doubled the vector extensions and added a new Tensor accelerator dedicated to AI acceleration.
So let me share a little bit with you about what we've done in Snapdragon 855. They'll run faster on Adreno thanks to a 50% increase in arithmetic logic units. And with Hexagon, and we've added a new dedicated Tensor accelerator. And when the CPU is the go-to for AI inference, we've added support for new dot product instructions in Cryo. All total form the backbone of our 4th generation AI engine. It's more than one core, it's more than hardware, it's a complete system. It's 3 times more performant than Snapdragon 845. We're 2x the performance of our 7 nanometer Android-based competitors.
With the Snapdragon 855, this is able to turn your phone's camera from a tool to capture memories to a window into the world around you.
So you can see exactly how that new hair color looks. Nowbe's single image depth technology applies DSLR-like bokeh effects to any picture, even those taken from other devices or downloaded from the internet. No depth from stereo or 3D camera sensors needed. Is helping us solve the problem with super resolution, with state-of-the-art deep neural networks. With our 4th generation AI engine, a capacity, again, of 7 trillion operations per second, 3 times the performance of our prior generation Snapdragon 845, and AI experiences built for the future. Snapdragon is an AI powerhouse. And on that, mahalo.